Hey everyone, and welcome back to OntarioCyrptids. A quick reminder, the live stream is scheduled for Monday, July 18th, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that would be, for you guys, tomorrow. I will be joined by Rich Bailey, whose story has been told in this channel previously, and Mike Patterson from Sasquatch Ontario. So don't miss this event. And they may have a few surprises for us, so we'll have to wait and see what it is. Okay, so today we're going to be heading to Texas for our encounter stories. These might be a bit on the short side due to the fact that I have a ton of stuff to do today. I'm sure you all do as well. And thank you for coming in and listening to these stories every week. I truly appreciate it. Okay, so if you have an encounter story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCyrptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Okay, you all know the drill. Go grab yourself a beverage and get cozy in your favorite spot and sit back and relax. All right, so we're going to start off by heading to Polk County, Texas, and this one occurred March of 2005, and the nearest town would be Dillardsville, but this occurred somewhere within the Big Thicket National Preserve. In March of 2005 at approximately 4:30, as reported by an individual called to the scene as part of the emergency response team, an individual was involved in a single-car accident on a highway through the Big Thicket National Preserve, Big Sandy Creek unit. Upon arriving to the scene, the response team found the individual still in the car. The car apparently rolled and ended up in the woods off the highway. The individual reportedly gained consciousness when the team arrived and then began to tell them what happened. The individual remembered seeing a dark, upright figure with long hair standing in the middle of the road. The height of the figure could have been anywhere between 5 feet and 8 feet, and certainly bigger than a child. The individual remembered that the figure was facing the car and was standing erect. The individual honked a horn, but the figure did not budge. The individual swerved to miss the figure and came as close as 20 feet before veering off the highway and rolling the car. That is the last thing the individual remembered before crashing. This next one takes place November of 2008. We are in Navarro County, Texas, and the nearest town is Dawson. Walking out the back door, I noticed our outside guard dog hunched against the steps. I figured he was cold and did not think much about it at the time and headed to the car. While putting my daughter in the car, I saw what I thought was a large, bulky man walking across the pasture just at the limits of the light. You see, it was around 6:10 in the morning and the sun had not yet begun to brighten the sky. I was afraid he was waiting to rob us. I got in the car to leave and called the police. When I started the car and I turned on the headlights, it was just leaving the range. It turned most of its upright body and looked in the direction of the lights, and I saw eyes glowing yellow in the headlights. That is when I knew it was not human. It crossed under the framework of the horse barn we are building. The barn is 7 feet tall, all the low sides, and 8 feet tall at the high side. This creature was about the same height as the barn. It continued walking, and I drove away in the opposite direction, wanting to get me and my daughter as far away from it as possible. All right, here's the last story of the day. This one takes place November 2013, and we are going to Cherokee County, Texas, and the nearest town is Jacksonville. I lived in a lake cabin for my first year of college. The lake and surrounding lands are owned by a hunting club that has been around since the lake was built in the 1930s. My closest neighbor was an older gentleman that had lived most of his life on this property. He always reminded me to take some kind of protection when I was hiking. I never paid him too much attention. In 2013, in early November, I can't remember the date, I decided to go hiking that afternoon. So around 2 p.m., I was headed out the door, walking past my neighbor's house and waving at him as I made my way off the trailhead. I hung my orange flag on the post to let people know I was hiking on that part of the property in hunting season. No flags were on the post when I got there, so I know I was the only one on that particular part of the property. Back in 2013, when I lived there, it was a small hunting club with only 20-ish members, so if someone was on the hill besides me, it was unlikely. I continued on the trail about a mile to the first plot, where I usually crept around a corner before I got there, because there may be some deer that I would stop and watch from a distance. This time, there were no deer. I started to walk the plot. Now, I'm going to take a second to describe the immediate geography of this part of the property. The trail hugged the side of the hill, and at this point, I was near to the top. The feed plot was just off the left side of the trail, and immediately to the right of the trail, the hill dropped off pretty harshly to a wash that ran to the lake. I would say it dropped about 25 feet to the bottom of the wash. It was steep enough that if I fell in, I would not be able to climb back up to the trail. So I started to walk into the clearing, the feed plot. Then, outside of the pump jack that was about 300 yards away that constantly ran because it was automated, everything went quiet. Birds stopped chirping, squirrels got still, and I was being watched by something. The woods just don't get silent like that, so I immediately went on guard. At this point, I was standing in the middle of the feed plot 20 yards away from the tree line in any direction. Scared, I turned around to see if I could retreat back the way I came from. Because I had nothing on me, I was ill-prepared to defend myself if I needed to. After I turned around and saw that nothing was behind me, but not sure what was watching, I quickly walked back to the tree line. The moment I got back to the tree line facing the direction of the trailhead, I heard what sounded like something of a low grumbling whoop to my right side, hillside of the trail. And I froze, taking a second to collect my thoughts of, I walked right past this thing, and it is between me and the house. I made the decision to confront it, thinking it may be a black bear. They are rare in this part of Texas, but people see them from time to time. I am 6 foot 2 inches tall and 240-ish pounds at this point. This is what you're supposed to do with a black bear. Hogs, wolves, mountain lions don't make the sound that I just heard. So I yelled, "Hey, this is my hill." It stepped out from behind the pine tree about 10 yards to my front and right. And it yelled back at me. It was a lot bigger than me. After that, it took one step over the trail and jumped to the bottom of the wash. I could hear it running on 2 feet for a few seconds. I ran back to the house. My neighbor said he heard a deep echoing yell before he saw me running home. I was scared out of my mind. I did not go hiking again that year. Just visual evidence: auburn, brown hair, 7 to 8 feet tall, and breasts and large teeth in the canine position. Look like what would fit the traditional description of a Bigfoot from the other stories I have heard. I guess for the record, don't yell at a Sasquatch. Any case, I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 stories. I'm happy everybody within these 3 stories survived, especially the dude that swerved to not hit a Sasquatch. I guess actually it probably was better that he didn't hit it, because who would know what the impact would have done to him? He probably would have been thrown from the vehicle and possibly have passed. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 stories. Reminder again, one last reminder. I will put up a post at some point on Saturday reminding everyone about the stream, but it will be on Monday, which will be tomorrow for you guys. As you know, I record on Saturdays. You guys are hearing it on Sunday, and this stream will be on Monday. So I hope you guys can join us to listen to the stories of Rich Bailey and Mike Patterson. Thank you so much for dropping by my channel and listening to another episode. If these stories reminded you of an encounter that you may have had and would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCyrptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story on this channel. Thank you for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Oh, and lastly, don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all my uploads, or in this case, streams. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you all next week right here on Ontario Cryptids. And for most of you, I hope to see you tomorrow during my live stream.